Well, hello out there on TV land or YouTube land or wherever you're watching this from. After dinner, I've had my dinner and I am stuffed. So it's a perfect time to sit down and continue on. I'm Andrea and welcome to Andrea's No-Sew Fleece Throw Adventures. Except, like I mentioned before, I will not be tying any blankets. This product has become famous for tying blankets. It comes like this with a solid color and a printed color for you to use. In the first video I cut the solid color, which in this case is bright orange. Might find it hard to go to sleep if you don't pull the covers up. We're making pajama pants out of the solid color. And I've also set up my serger. And I want to mention at this point that you don't have to have a serger. You can do it on a regular sewing machine. And I'll be doing some of that sewing at another time. But I'm going to show you why I use the serger in this instance. And again, you don't have to use a serger, but why I do, especially one with a number of colors on it. Not only because I'm Pippi Longstocking about most things. I don't care about the matchy, but I have several colors so that when I'm running my seam in my serger, I can tell which one is acting up. I can tell which one I have to change the tension on so that I have a nice, neat, and sergers also cut. They don't have to. You can set them up for that. In this instance, mine is cutting so that I am cutting and sewing at the same time. So already your time is cut in half. And this situation will go on half the time. It will go much quicker. So here are my yellow pants from I think this was my very first set of pajama pants, and that's them without the baggage in them. I'm sitting on the baggage, and the seam is so nice. My serger has spoiled me to pieces. Okay, however, and I will mention it again, I did not use a serger for the waistband, for the casing and the waistband. I used a regular machine, but we'll talk about that. I will use a serger for the waistband in this video, and we'll talk about that too. I'm not going to leave much out because I want this to be fun. I don't want you to be afraid or worry you don't have the matching threads or the right machine or the most expensive machine. There are many great sewing machines and great sergers you can use. But in my video right here, right now, I'm using my serger, which I got at a local craft store. And I also took advantage of the already done hem on the fabric as it came in the packaging. So that when I got done sewing my leg, I just cut the loose threads off and already had my hem there. So I didn't have to hem them. And I really didn't have to roll them. So you also noticed I have not pulled out my measuring tape because I'm lazy. And I want to keep it fun. I want to keep it fun. I just eyeball it and hope it comes out well. In this instance, it really did. So this is my yellow pair that goes with this top. We'll talk about the top. This is also part of the No-Sew Throw packaging. Ooh, my tongue is going to get tied in a knot. All right. So here we are. We've cut them from the first video. And as a matter of fact, there's our pattern still all rolled up in it. That's so that when I get distracted and I walk off doing something else, walking the dogs, feeding the cat, watering the lawn, eating, I can unroll this and go, oh, my pajama pants. Let me finish them. No pins. Remember, I didn't use one pin. And again, how do I know the front from the back? Because once I take this off, it's going to be that way. The front is shorter. Here we have the pocket to indicate to us. The front is shorter and the back seam is longer. Keep that in mind as you go forward. And I also don't address a front side or back side of the fabric. Doesn't matter, especially when you're dealing with a solid color. So here goes our pattern, which we made out of an old pair of jeans. No pattern infringement here. And off they go. See you later. Okay. So, and sometimes, not in this case, but sometimes, it depends. If I'm working with a pattern material, sometimes I will take a Sharpie and put a little dot on the edge so I know which is the front and which is the back. But I'm not going to do that here because I remember my right hand is on the front. That's another indicator. Boy, these look huge. I better lay off the donuts. What do you think, Piper? No donuts? Okay. All right. Now, we turn our serger on. And again, I keep multicolors so that I can see which thread is misbehaving. But for the sake of the video, I don't care if anybody misbehaves as long as we get the job done. All right. So again, I have it set for cutting. And I put it right on the edge, so that's my guide, because my friends have asked me, well, how do you know how far across to sew? Well, I just measure it by how wide the foot is. All right, and the foot is already down. So I slowly ease it. And my serger is cutting while I'm sewing. I'll show you in a moment. Done that whole circle. How nice that is. So you see, it doesn't matter in places where I just nick the fabric a little bit. I can straighten that out, and so I'll just pull it over a little bit so it'll match up. And be sure that that goes outside the foot and not under it. Okay. See, so I don't have to cut off any excess because my serger is cutting for me. Here we go. We're going to round the corner. That's another special thing. Okay. But fleece is perfect for this because the serger doesn't mind. I can turn a corner without missing a stitch. Here we go. One-handed. I can pet the dog and eat at the same time. You want to make a tail. Keep sewing. This is your tail. Stop. All right. And we just nip it here like halfway between. And here's the fabric that the serger cut off. That's the excess. So I don't have to cut any of that. All right? Away you go. Okay, so we can see here that we are missing some stitches here. But we'll address that later because it doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. When I'm all done, I'm going to take a regular machine and I'm going to sew a straight line on the spine of that. Okay, so it won't matter. But that is the front. That's your front. And now we're going to do the same thing to the back. Again, no pins because it doesn't matter. And that's why you cut it so huge. So every time you do something, you sew a seam or you cut something, you make sure you do it huge because anything can be cut down. The trouble comes when you cut something too small. Here we go. We're doing the back seam now. See, I keep it right on the edge here. I'm not pulling, I'm just guiding it through. There we go. At this point I could answer the phone, I could sit down and write myself a letter with the other hand. Okay, this we want to be sure it stays put. There we go. And gently be sure it turns that corner with ease. I heard that. I listened to my serger. Alright, that's messing up on me. See, somebody's messing up. Either I see this here? Alright. So that has to be tended to. So I'm going to cut this off. And I'm also going to cut the camera off. But we'll get back to it because I have to tend to see who's messing up here. And I have to rethread it. And rethreading a serger is, yes, it's a nightmare. But it's worth it. You'll see. So until I get back to you, and I'll get back to you very shortly, we're going to go in there and see who's messing up in there. I might need another needle. I might have to rethread one of the, and the thing about a serger is having one thread mess up, I'm going to have to rethread all 4 of these. I have to start from scratch. So here's where we are so far. This is your front seam, and this is your back. I know it looks huge. Look at that. I could invite a few friends in there. What's going to happen next, pretending that that didn't happen with the seams, is we're going to open it, just so it'll make sense to you. See now? Talking to the camera lady. Does that make sense to you? Mm-hmm. See? And here's our crotch. All right? So you see we have no outside seam. So the next thing that's going to go on is I'm going to start right in the middle, which is difficult with a serger, but I'll show you how. And I'm going to go down that leg, then I'm going to go down that leg. All right? So that's what we're going to do next, and after that comes the waistband. So go fix yourself some coffee. I'm going to go have a drink, I think, and get with this serger, and I'll be right back with you jiffy quick. Thanks again for watching. I'm Andrea, and this is my adventure into the no-sew throw packaging.